you're staring at your game library, and somehow it all feels hollow. You've got a mountain of titles waiting, some you've bought on sale, some you were so hyped for, some you don't even remember buying. And yet, here you are. Mouse in hand or controller in hand, mind numb, scrolling, but nothing is clicking. This isn't just you, this is a whole generation of us. Gamers who are stuck in this weird limbo where we're surrounded by video games, but somehow can't pick one. And I think that deserves a deeper look. So why can't we choose? Well, let's be honest. Choosing a game used to be simple. You saved up for one title, you played it front to back, that was it. Now, I'm old enough to remember growing up that we didn't have a whole lot of money, and we used to go to the GameStop all the time. Shout out to the GameStop employee who bought my gold edition Zelda game that I didn't know the worth. He gave me like $20 and was selling it for $60 the next day.
$10. What? I said I'd give you $10. For which one? I don't know what. All of them. All of them? $10 for all of them? Yup.
Anyways, choosing a game used to be simple, right? Now we're swimming in options. Subscription services, free games, indie darlings, open world epics that take 200 hours to finish. I'm looking at you, Assassin's Creed. And it's like our brains can't keep up. You ever open Steam or Game Pass and just sigh? You're not alone. That's called choice overload. Psychologically, when you have too many good options, your brain starts doing two things. Number one, it becomes afraid of choosing wrong. And number two, it assumes there's a perfect choice out there. So we end up stuck, not playing anything, because we're terrified the game we do pick won't live up to whatever imagined experience we were craving. But what if the problem isn't the game? What if it's the expectation? Well, I want to talk about gaming and emotional weather, right? Sometimes we treat games like they're supposed to give us the same experience every time. But that's not how it works. Games are like music, or food, or art. You don't always want the same flavor. Some days you need comfort. Some days you want challenge. Some days you want to feel powerful. And other days you just want to feel safe. So instead of asking, what's the best game to play right now? Try asking, what am I emotionally hungry for? Do I want peace or chaos? Do I want a story or silence? Do I want something that lets me escape or something that makes me just feel? That changes everything because you stop chasing the best game and start looking for the right one for today. Here's a small trick that changed my entire backlog. It's called the 20-minute rule. Set a timer. Pick any game you're even mildly curious about and give it just 20 minutes. That's it. No commitment, no pressure to finish, no guilt, just a test drive. 9 times out of 10, I'll know. I'll either say, okay, I get the vibe, or yeah, not today. The point isn't to finish, it's to engage. To move from stuck to curious, to trade pressure for play. Replaying is sacred. Now here's something we don't talk about enough. Replaying old games is not a failure. It's sacred. There's this quiet shame that creeps in when we go back to old favorites. You know, we're playing the same old game over and over again. I don't know if you felt this before, but sometimes I felt it where I'm playing the same games I've always played, and I think, man, I have all these games that I've bought on sale or that I've gotten for free, and I don't know if I'm gonna get to them. And so I feel kind of bad because it's like, I ought to play these games too. Like, these are fresh new experiences, but I keep going back to the same game over and over again. Well, here's the truth, okay? If a game ever gave you peace or power or healing, you're allowed to revisit that space. Games like Skyrim, Mass Effect, Journey, they're more than just code. They're memories, places we once found part of ourselves. When we return, it's not because we're lazy, it's because we're remembering something. And sometimes that remembering is more valuable than discovery. And a lot of us were kids when we played those games, like Halo. I remember playing Halo. The first one I played was Halo 3 ODST. And that took me into a world I had never experienced before. And to this day, I still play Halo. I love that game because of how it made me feel, the exploration, the mysteriousness of the rings and the world and the flood and everything that was going on, reading the Halo books. I still play that game because of how it made me feel. There's a quote that says, "People won't remember what you say, they'll remember how you made them feel." And I think that quote is true for video games also. I may not remember every little intrinsic detail about Halo and the universe, but I remember how it made me feel. Chasing the perfect game. Let me ask you this. Have you ever spent more time trying to find the perfect next game than you spent actually playing one? Yeah, me too. You know, you get off work and you're tired, you're hungry, and sometimes you just want to relax. You want to play a video game. And I just sit there in front of my computer scrolling through my library thinking, what do I want to play? What do I want? I want to invest my time into something that's going to be enjoyable, but then I have the paralysis of analysis and I can't choose, and then I've wasted my time and it's time to go to bed. There's this quiet lie we buy into that one game will scratch every itch, that it will be deep, beautiful, meaningful, addictive, challenging, relaxing, but that's just a fantasy. Even the greatest games have limits. They weren't built to complete us. Gaming doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be present. Sometimes a simple, janky, pixelated indie game can reach your soul more than $1 billion open world epic. Why? Because it met you where you were. And it met you in the life stage in which you were ready to receive it. Let chance lead sometimes. Alright, if you're truly stuck, try this. Pick 5 games from your backlog, assign them numbers, roll a dice, find a spinning wheel online, right, that you can just put the game names into, just spin it, and just see what game you want to play, or rather, what game fate wants you to play. Let fate decide, not because randomness is better than intention, but because sometimes your soul is tired of carrying the burden of choosing. Letting go of control, even in something small, can be surprisingly healing. You might stumble to something you never have picked otherwise, and those are often the games that become special. One game that is an example of this for me is The Evil Within 1 and 2. Now, I don't really like horror games. I don't like scary games. In fact, the first scary game I ever played was Phasmophobia, and I was screaming my head off, alright? But The Evil Within 1 and 2 have these great stories, and I played both games back to back, and I couldn't believe what I had missed out on. I was like, well, this is an amazing game. Yeah, it's scary, but I really enjoyed it. That's the whole point. You might stumble into something you'd never have picked otherwise, but you're glad that it picked you. And those games truly do become special. And maybe it's not about the game. Here's the deeper truth, and I say this gently as someone who's been there. Sometimes when we can't choose a game, it's not about the games, it's about us. We're tired, we're restless, we're grieving, we're numb, and we're hoping some digital world will rescue us from whatever we're avoiding in the real one. That's not shameful, but it is something to notice, because when our heart is heavy, no game will feel right, and that's okay. Yeah, I love reading books, I love playing video games because they have taken me out of a lot of my circumstances that weren't that great. But at the end of the day, I got to deal with reality too. I can't just lose myself in a video game. I have to deal with some things going on in my life. But gaming helps. Gaming certainly does help. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is pause, breathe, and ask, what do I need right now? Not as a gamer, but as a person. Press start anyway. Whatever you choose, press start. Let it be messy, let it be short, let it be unexpected, but press start. You don't need to finish. You don't need to love it. You just need to be there for yourself. And if this helped you, maybe consider helping someone else, because we're all scrolling through something. If you like this video, make sure to hit like and subscribe. I'm thankful for having you here, and I'll see you in the next game.